Hello and welcome to I24 News World Cup show, where we get ready for the quarterfinal frenzy set to begin in just a few hours. 2 matches tonight, 2 more tomorrow night. With me here in the studio is football analyst Yoav Borovich and Dr. Eyal Gertman from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, expert on German matters. Hello, gentlemen.
Hi, Jonathan.
8 teams are still left standing. On Saturday night, we will only have 4 left. We're now going to take an in-depth look at the 4 matches coming up. Let's get started. It can't get any bigger than the opening match of the quarterfinal stage. Tonight, the huge European clash between France and Germany. The winner of this game will meet in the semifinal with the winner of the South American clash between the host country and Colombia. Tomorrow, Argentina will take on Belgium. The winner of this game will face the Netherlands or Costa Rica in the semis. And the big final is set for July 13th at the Maracana. France against Germany, there's so much history there, on and off the pitch. Great matches, even greater controversies, and one semi-final spot waiting for the winner. Mirav Savir gets us ready for yet another episode in this unending rivalry.
France versus Germany, an all-European former champion battle. Germany with 3 championships, France with 1. Neither have won in the 21st century. On their journey to these quarterfinals, the French met weaker foes in Honduras, Ecuador, and Nigeria, none of which play at the same level as the Germans, and players know the upcoming match will be a challenge.
They're a very strong team in all aspects of the game. They have a very good goalkeeper. He might even be number 1 today. It is a rather homogeneous team with a great striker who is truly making a big impression in this World Cup, just like he did in 2010.
But all that matters to Les Bleus is that they've won and got to the quarterfinals. Who they face so far is a minute fact that isn't taking away from their confidence.
We're proud because, results aside, team spirit is really important to us, and up until now, you can't fault it. I hope it's going to continue. I have no doubt it will.
On the other hand, Germany faced more worthy opponents, coming out of a group consisting of Ghana, Portugal, and the United States. And even though they've gotten this far without a loss, players think they haven't even reached their potential.
Nicht zu 100% zufrieden mit unserer Spielweise.
We're not 100% satisfied with how we played, but in every game we've left the pitch having deserved our win. Some things haven't been working. Our game hasn't always been perfect, but at the end of the day, we deserve to win the match, and that's what counts. I hope we'll improve, but at the end, it's winning that matters. That's obvious.
The 2 teams have played each other 25 times in international play, and Les Bleus have the edge over the Germans, having won 11, Germany taking 8. But their history is highlighted by what is regarded as one of the most shameful incidents in World Cup history. In 1982, French Patrick Battiston was knocked out by a kung fu-like charge from goalkeeper Toni Schumacher. Those 10 frightening minutes are ingrained in the minds of both the French and the Germans, and it's something they've been talking about, including Germany's goalkeeper.
I hope nothing like that will happen. The French player ended up with some major problems. My priority is always to recover the ball, obviously without harming my opponents.
Hopefully during tonight's game, those memories are put aside, and all that will matter is getting the win. But Germany may be in a bit of trouble. On Thursday, it was reported several of their players have the flu.
France, as we have heard, holds a slight lead in the head-to-head meetings, but in World Cup clashes, it's the Germans who have the upper hand. Coming into the game tonight, in the 1986 World Cup in Mexico, they met in the semis, and it was the Germans advancing to the finals, beating the French 2-0. Andras Brehme and Rudi Feller scoring for the Nationalmannschaft. The game, which no fan can forget, took place on the same stage 4 years earlier in Spain. The famous Schumacher-Battiston incident, we just heard today's players talking about it. It was 3-0 after 120 minutes. The Germans advanced to the finals on penalties. One French victory came in 1958, beating the Germans, then world champions, 6-3 in the match for the 3rd place. Eyal, Germany is here in the quarters, but we're hearing it's not so quiet in the German camp. They're not really satisfied.
Yeah, there's a lot of criticism about what the coach Jogi Löw is doing. There are 3 questions that bother the German one. The first one, if Philipp Lahm should play as in the midfield or play in his old and classical position as the right defender. The second question, if Schweinsteiger should play instead of Khedira. And the third one is Ozil, with a lot of criticism about him, about how he played in the last game.
Even though he scored the second goal
He
against
scored, but it was,
Algeria.
in garbage time, so the German didn't like his performance. And these three questions were asked at the Bild Zeitung, the one of the popular newspaper in Germany, to help Jogi Lev, who should be in the first 11. So.
Now this flu thing coming up, what's it about? What do they say in Germany?
Okay, they said in Germany because of the air condition, because of jet lag, flight condition, etc. It started with Hummels. He was the first victim to this disease, and now it's become to be 6 or 7 players, I heard, but I hope they will be fine in the evening.
Yeah, they should be fine. Yoav, I want to ask you about France. They're very good, no doubt about it, but they've not faced real opposition so far, not as good as Germany. This is their first real test. Are they up to it?
It's a good question. I think they are up to it because France came to this World Cup without Samir Nasri, especially without Franck Ribéry, their greatest star. And still, Didier Deschamps, the captain of the legendary captain of '98, is also a winner coach, and he really accomplished something nice with this team because they have a lot of young talent and they're together. We're talking Blaise Matuidi, Benzema, Pogba, Giroud. So they have the talent, they have the players. Still, Germany, I think, has more depth. They definitely have much more experience in World Cups and Euros and everything. But I think it's going to be a very interesting match, and I think it's going to be a well-balanced match.
Yeah, obviously very interesting to see.
It's like the European final, actually, when two of the best team. I'm not considering Holland in the other leg, but still, they're two classical teams. We talked last time about the immigration population. Not all of them French, not all of them Germans. So
yeah, the immigration factor is very strong in France, but it's becoming strong in Germany as well. And I think it's something beautiful. I think we see a new Europe and we see new national teams, and I think everybody benefits.
Absolutely. Now, the winner of this match will meet in the semis with the winner of the night's second quarterfinal. And if 3 weeks ago, very few people would bet on Colombia to beat Brazil, now things look different, as Merav Savi reports.
A 1,644-kilometer border separates Brazilian territory from Colombian, and on Friday night, a football rivalry may take over the crossing. Brazil entered the World Cup heavy favorites, with a lot of pressure put on them, and especially their star Neymar. They were put to the ultimate test on Saturday, when Chile pushed them to the limit. A fifth and final penalty attempt, but the Seleção survived thanks to a crossbar, and the emotion echoed on the faces of Brazilian players, showing their relief. Chile brought the pressure, but Brazil stood their ground. And Neymar says the only way for them to cope and survive is to joke.
Então eu falo aos meus companheiros, a gente tem que jogar como se estivesse jogando contra amigo.
I tell my teammates that we have to act like if we are playing against a friend in the backyard of your house. You don't want to lose to your friend, fear to be mocked. I say to myself, no, I'm not losing to this guy. Are you nuts? So he can mock me later? I do my best to win. That's my way to deal with it, like we did against Chile.
Brazil so far has failed to impress, and criticism of the team is headlining in the media. But to Neymar, it doesn't matter what they say, but how he and his team play.
Não importa se a gente não vai dar chapéu, se não vai dar caneta, se não vai...
It doesn't matter if we do not do tricks, nutmegs, put on a show, or do not put a smile on everybody's face. We're not here for this goal. What we want is to commit, run into our last breath, and then leave as winners. At the end of the game, we can see if we put on a show or not.
And on the pitch, they'll be facing a player who so far has put on a show. Beating Neymar, Müller, and Messi, James Rodriguez is leading the top scorers chart with 5 goals. 2 of them came in their most recent game and are responsible for knocking out power Uruguay, who stole the title from Brazil in 1950. According to scouts, Rodriguez is a player to watch because scoring, which is what we've seen him do so far, isn't even his specialty.
He's more an assist deliverer than only a goal scorer, and it's really for him to be able to play the playmaker role, but also play on the wing or go into the center and really score goals is what makes him very special. He has this ability to do many things on a very, very high level.
This is the farthest Colombia has gotten in their World Cup history, and beating the host would be an unbelievable feat for the South American country. But from what we've seen in this World Cup, a miracle isn't too far-fetched.
Yoav, we just saw 2 players to focus, James Rodriguez and Neymar, and Brazil really depends on Neymar. If he's bad, they'll have trouble. James Rodriguez is obviously important, but other Colombian players scored 6 goals. They don't depend on him.
Right. He scored almost half their goals, but they have Juan Guardado, they have Freddy Guarin from the bench also. They don't have Radamel Falcao. It's not a team of a lot of individual great stars, but they're cohesive. They have the talent. They have James. On the other hand, Neymar, had a really good World Cup so far. Not great because he didn't excel in every game, but he excelled in almost all the games. But I think the key figure here is Hulk. Hulk was very good in the last game against Chile, but he didn't have the luck. He couldn't score, and then he missed also the penalty in the shootout. But I still think he was Brazil's main guy, and I think Hulk should come up big tonight for Brazil to win. And also Neymar, of course. I still think Brazil are favorites, although Colombia presented the most beautiful football so far in the tournament.
But judging by what we have seen so far, we saw Colombia very impressive, though, other than Uruguay, no real tough opposition. Will it be a surprise, or are we giving them too much credit, and then when it's Brazil, a different story?
Yeah, first of all, it's hard to tell, but still the events of 1950, the World Cup, the trauma of the Brazilian team in 1950, I think it's something here in the head. And this is one of the main reasons that maybe Brazil can go on in this tournament. Nevertheless, they didn't play so well. We saw that, but...
We're talking about the trauma of 1950 because it's part of Brazilian folklore, but let's not forget Brazil also world champions for five times. They also have a winning mentality, and they're also hosting this tournament. And also another factor is that a lot of South American teams are afraid of Brazil. For historical reasons, the dominance was always with Brazil. So maybe if today it's not exactly like that, I still think Colombia, and they have the pressure of the whole Colombian nation behind them. It's obviously a very, there's crazy pressure on both sides, and as I said, I think Brazil are favorites. I think they'll have the support of the crowd. Anyway, it's going to be a great match.
Obviously one to watch. Now to the action that awaits tomorrow. Belgium contemplating on how to stop Leo Messi. Costa Rica thinking about Arjen Robben. That and more in Merav Savir's press review.
Two more big matchups coming up tomorrow night, and as the teams prepare, so does the media. One of those matches is Belgium versus Argentina, and Belgium's Nieuwsblad Sports World writer Lunde van de Walle says if the Belgian team can beat Messi, they can be world champions, emphasizing Messi is the best player at the moment. Van de Walle says it will be tough for the Devils to stop him. They will have to close him out, not give him any room. The 1 second you give him, he can shine. The other game of the night, Cinderella Costa Rica and Power Netherlands. And in the Netherlands Telegraph, the newspaper highlights Tico's manager Jorge Luis Pinto's admiration for Arjen Robben, quoting the coach saying, "For anyone who wants to play football as a winger, he's a prime example, and that Robben sits at the top of his game." Robben's controversial dive is what got the Netherlands to these quarterfinals, but the managers seem to have just praise for him. As for Costa Rica, in the Tico Times, they have a rebuttal to the Wall Street Journal after the publication called on Americans to ignore Costa Rica, saying, quote, "We were expected to be quickly eliminated in the first round." And they highlight who they've beaten so far, emphasizing they haven't even lost a match yet, and say he has a problem with them, saying there's no one to cheer for. Well, I don't think Costa Rica will have any problem finding fans. The surprise team has already made plenty of them in Brazil and around the world.
Eyal, I want to ask you about Arjen Robben. He plays in Germany, in Bayern Munich, and it seems ever since that goal last year with Bayern in the Champions League final, his whole perception has changed from the loser to the winner, winning the biggest game on the 89th minute.
I guess you get the German spirit and character. I guess so. Of course, there's a lot of revival between Germany and Holland, but when he became a Bayern Munich player, I think you get this character for him. He won the Champions League last year. We saw what he did today.
Part of the Bayern Munich machine.
I guess so.
I think first of all, Robben definitely got the German winning mentality. He's a great winner. These, last year or two, just amazing, and he carries the Holland team on his back. Talking about the other big game of tomorrow, Argentina, Belgium.
We've seen Argentina is Leo Messi, a bit Di Maria, and that's it. Can they do something else?
It's Leo Messi against the Belgian gang. Obviously, has Di Maria as a helper, as an
Messi,
assistant.
Maradona said that.
Right, but I never remember Argentina with so many unknown players. It's unbelievable. They're the oldest team in the World Cup, and they don't have enough great players, but they do have the number one player. On the other hand, Belgium has so much talent. I think,
it finally came out in the game against the U.S. It went to overtime,
exactly.
But they were very good.
They improved as the World Cup continued. I do think they're slight favorites against Leo Messi. If they beat Argentina, for Belgium, it's just unbelievable.
Can Can Argentina bring something else? Is it even possible? We have seen so far Messi and that's it. Is there something else?
Di Maria is a great player, one of the best, in his position in the world, had a great season with Real Madrid, scored the winning goal against Switzerland. We thought Kun Agüero, but he's injured. Higuain has been terrible so far. Carlito Tevez
was a little bit to show some
Carlito Tevez, who has the talent, was not even invited. So it's Messi against Belgium.
And the rest of the world.
And that game is also open, pretty much like the two games today. Netherlands, Costa Rica, perhaps a bit more open. Dr. Eyal Gertman, Yoav Borovic, thank you very much.
Thank
a great
you.
pleasure to have you with us. And that's it for us today. We will be here again on Sunday to summarize all the quarterfinal action. Thank you for watching and have a beautiful day.